The offense on this team is absolute garbage. Oh my word. What is up, Gaming Nation? This is JMO76, and we are back with more of the relocation franchise for the Vancouver Redwoods. This is a terrible, terrible season right now. We're sitting at 4-5. This is the mid-season recap. We're in third place. Really shouldn't be 4-5 after that last game. Just a garbage game. Absolute garbage game. We lost it. We really have most likely lost any chance we have at the playoffs. It's going to be a tough one now. You can see the Eagles are sitting there at 8-1. Cowboys at 6-2. We are 4-5. Again, we did have that big victory against the Eagles, but there's no chance we have of catching them. And if you check with around the league at the schedule, again, we're in a tough position for the standings. Taking a quick look around the league here, looking through the NFC right now. Got the 49ers at 6-2 leading the NFC West. They're looking good. That's a really weak division right now. Expected a little bit better from them. Eagles, again, as we talked about, absolutely dominating the division. Really, they are the rock star team right now in the NFC. Cowboys also looking really strong. Redwoods defense has been amazing, but unfortunately wasn't so much amazing last game, and that's going to be a really tough one to get back into. NFC South, again, pretty aligned there. Saints looking pretty decent there overall at 6-3. And NFC North, this is just a horrible division. Look at the Packers. They are sitting there at 0-8, 1-7 Lions. My goodness, those are absolutely horrible stats. In terms of the AFC, look at the Raiders. The greatness of the Raiders. 9-0, Chiefs 8-1. Wow, that is going to be an epic finish for that division, no doubt. No one saw the Raiders doing that. And then in the AFC East, again, really competitive. Bills 6-3, Jets 5-3, Dolphins 4-5. That's going to be a close one, right down to the wire. AFC South, look at that. Colts out in front. Everyone else very mediocre. Colts, a nice season thus far. And Ravens way out in front in terms of the AFC North. Steelers, Bengals, pretty long shot to catch them. Browns, absolutely out of it. It's pretty ugly there. So in terms of the NFC, again, if you look at where we find ourselves, definitely we are on the outside looking in. Again, it is doable. We could definitely get back into that race. We have the Seahawks, the Bucks, we have the Cardinals. Again, they're all in it there, but we have to have a bit of a win streak going forward, and that's going to be a difficult one just based on how bad the offense has been. If you take a quick look here at the AFC, again, what a dogfight there at the top. Raiders and Chiefs. Someone's going to have to win that division, ultimately likely win that conference. And then as you can see from there, again, pretty competitive from a playoff situation. Again, looking at the standings here, passing leaders, Mahomes, look at that. 24-54 on the season, 18 TDs. Mac Jones, everyone, 2,100 yards on the season. How did that happen? Josh Jacobs running away with it. That explains a lot in terms of the Raiders' success. And again, look at that, Chris Olave, 60 receptions, 840 yards. Very nice. In terms of sack leaders, again, Max Crosby leading the way. Raiders are putting something together really special down there. Interception leaders there. Micah Hyde, 5 picks on the year. And tackle leaders, look at that. Ernest Jones, 67 tackles thus far. 60 solo tackles thus far. So he is looking good. If we jump into the Redwoods here, take a quick look at them. Oh, man, that is ugly. Look at that. Jacoby Brissett, 32nd in the league in terms of passing. He's not even the starter anymore. Hasn't played in 3 games. But this has been the reason why this team has struggled so badly this season. Jacoby Brissett, again, benched 3 games ago. Will Levis is in there now. Look at those stats, though. Absolute garbage. 981 yards on the season, 7 TDs, 5 interceptions, 52% passing ratio. Just not going to get it done. And then you look at Will Levis in 3 games. Again, 45 for 82, passing at 54%. Not great. 3 TDs, 3 interceptions. He started to show some real potential there in that last game. Just had a couple big mistakes, and that was really costly. In terms of this offense, what is it all based around? Well, it's based around the run game. It's all about Robinson and it's all about Blackshear. The two of them combined, basically on the verge of 1,000 yards combined. They are looking good out there. Robinson Jr., he was really on fire earlier in the season. Blackshear has really come on lately. And again, I can see that 1-2 combo going hard down the stretch. In terms of what will happen there, who knows? But again, that's going to be the big focus on this team. What's really killing this team, though, again, because the passing isn't there, the receptions aren't there. Terry McLaurin, he is the team leader. He's a rock out there. 518 yards, 5 TDs, 36 receptions. Dotson at 27 receptions. But then look at this. Curtis Samuel, the third leading receiver. 9 games into the season. He has 14 receptions. 14 receptions. Can you believe that? Logan Thomas, again, 16 receptions there. Not as many yards. No touchdowns. There has been absolutely nothing in terms of the pass game because this team is so weak at the quarterback position. And ultimately, the offensive line has just been atrocious. Like Nick Gates has given up 3 sacks on the season. Stromberg's given up a couple. Those stats really are misleading, though, because they just do not provide the protection that the quarterbacks need, especially the tackles on the outside. They just get demolished. In terms of defense, though, again, this is what this team is all about. In terms of defense, look at this. Cameron Curl, 27 solo tackles on the season. He's looking really good out there. In terms of the assists, 31 for Jamin Davis. Really nice. Overall tackles, 53 for Curl, 50 for Davis, 50 for Barton. Forrest, again, 47. Impressive stats. The tackles for a loss, through the roof. Allen, Barton, Davis, all double digits. Here's where it's really impressive. This team, all about bringing the heat. 5 sacks for Jartavius Martin. Again, this team does a lot of blitzing, with secondary blitzes especially. Barton, 4 sacks. Davis, 4 sacks. Allen, Young, Sweat, Mayo, all 2 sacks. And it just keeps going and going and going. Again, super, super heavy in terms of the attack there. Looking really good. And then Cam Curl and Forbes. Forbes may be a potential candidate here for Rookie of the Year. He's looking good. 3 picks out there already this year, and it just keeps going. Speaking of which, look at this. In terms of rookies of the year candidates right now, Jartavius Martin in position number 1 for the potential defensive rookie of the year. He's looking really good out there. Again, following down the list there, looking at number 5. We've got Emmanuel Forbes. He's looked really good out there as well. So those 2 pieces, they are rocks for this defense moving forward. They are looking really good. They could be a nice piece to the puzzle for this team moving forward. And looking in terms of MVP for the season, you can really get a sense here. Look at players on this list. Jackson, Hurts, Mahomes, Allen. You got a lot of nice names on there. What you don't see anyone from the Redwoods. Again, because this team really has struggled this year, outside of on the defensive part of the field, but this team has struggled. They've got a lot of holes, a lot of work that needs to be done in order to make this team competitive. So in order for this team to make the playoffs, it's going to be tough. Right now, they got a big game this week versus the Seahawks, and then ultimately game against the Giants. That should be a victory, but with this team and this offense, who knows? Week 12, going to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. That is going to be a huge game. That has to be a victory. And again, that's going to be a tough game, but that has to be a victory if this team has any chance of a playoff push. Got the Dolphins. Week 14 is a bye week. And then off to the Rams, the Jets, 49ers, and then ultimately ending the season at home versus the Cowboys. That's the remaining schedule. It's going to be a real challenge to get in the playoffs. Can the team do it? Ultimately, it's going to be based all around that offense and whether or not that offense shows up and that they can get the job done. Looking at roster there, a lot of players potentially looking to leave this team. Question is whether or not they're going to re-sign. Kendall Fuller, that's a tough one. He's 28 years old, 87 overall, looking at 5.22 mil a season, but he only wants 1 year. 74 million in cap space. Definitely have the space. Real question is how many years do we want him for? But he does not have an interest to re-sign with this team. That's a tough one. Basically, he's got zero interest. Let's just see here. Check it out for, what is he looking for? What are his tags? Well, he's not close to home. He wanted to be in Maryland, and this team moved to Vancouver. Not good there. Doesn't like the scheme that we run. Vancouver's a 4-3. He doesn't like it. And market size, Vancouver is not a huge city, about 650,000. Greater area around it, a couple million. But he's looking for a bigger city. He's going to be a tough one to re-sign. Basically, we'll have to throw a boatload of money at him if we want him. Real question is it worth it? In 87, that's a solid 87, but that's a lot of money. We'd be looking at per season 12 million. Now this one here, no brainer. Montez Sweat, he's 26, 82 overall. He's looking for 11.4 mil over 3 years. I think that is definitely a doable one. We're going to try to get him re-signed as quickly as we can. Curtis Samuel, again, another tough one here. We do not have a lot of weapons. He's not interested in re-signing. It might just be time to walk away on that one. Look to the draft, try to find some young receivers that we can build around. Cody Barton has definitely been a big piece to this team. And again, he does not want to sign. He has been a really strong middle linebacker. We definitely don't want to lose him, but that's going to be a tough one to fix. Terrell Burgess, again, not too particularly worried there. Jacoby Brissett, yeah, this is. I'll save some time on this one. He's not going to be re-signed. Raheem Blackshear, now I worry about this one. He does not look like he wants to resign. We want to build a lot around this kid. He is going to be a monster. He doesn't have a mentor, which is challenging because Robinson Jr. still a pretty young kid. He loves the historic championships of the Washington/Vancouver franchise. He loves the scheme fit. But he is definitely a little bit concerned in terms of not wanting to sign. We're going to have to throw some money at him, probably some big money at him, just to make sure we can keep him. Again, over 2 years, he only wants a 4.36 plus the bonus. That's going to be a no-brainer. So we'll start the offering. We'll give him exactly what he wants. We'll see what happens there. And again, that's probably an easy one to fit under the cap if we so wish. Again, a lot of role players here, background players, not a lot of starters in terms of what's left. The offensive line is absolutely disastrous. It's got to be a real focus there in the draft. Marquise Goodwin, he's brought a lot in the games that he's played, but oh man, at 32, that's a tough one to see if we really want to bring him back. Probably other options out there, but I do love the speed. And again, a lot of these guys easily could let go. Cornelius Lucas III, again, it's hard to find good offensive linemen, hard to find good left tackles. Cornelius, he's Lucas III, he's past his prime. He wants to re-sign. I just don't see us taking that deal. I mean, 1.85 million. We'll see if we can get a little bit off of it. Probably not. Joey Sly, yeah, he doesn't want to resign. Realistically, Joey Sly may be cut before next game. He has not had a good season. I don't even want to see his profile picture there. That's horrible. And again, Jamin Davis, yeah. The 5th-year option, we know that we are going to take this. He is a superstar. He's been a rock on this team. This is going to cost us big, but we are not letting this kid go. He is the future of the team. In terms of needs for the draft, scouting has begun. Again, a lot of different players that are out there, some really strong cornerbacks in this draft. Jeff Pointier, Kentrell Laws, love Kentrell Laws. He's the type of guy I would love to have. Thing is, we don't need more defensive pieces right now. We really need the offensive pieces. And again, a lot of questions around, is Will Levis the guy? It's not a strong quarterback crop this year, a really weak one. I mean, look at this. Like apparently this guy is Apparently, he's a triplet, all with different names. Darren Walsh, Doug Gates, and Morris Williams. Wow, that is the quality and attention to detail I love from EA Sports. Now, in terms of receivers, we definitely have a need for receivers. Not a lot of great projections right now in terms of receivers. There is an interesting one, maybe looking at for a little bit later in the round, the draft, maybe around 2-3. Keeping our eye on Josh Ellington, even though he's trending downwards right now. He's got some nice skills to him, but I think the real sleeper ultimately is going to be Marcus Watkins. He's got a lot of talent. He's a playmaker. We could probably get him really late in the draft, and I could easily see him cracking the starting lineup. We're also really weak in terms of tight ends. Again, not a lot of great tight ends right now on the market, but we are looking at Ethan Lowry. Cam Broyles definitely in there. Devin Burton, another possibility. So there are some nice candidates we could get there, possibly a little bit later in the draft. Where it's a real mess right now is trying to figure out what's happening with the offensive line. There's a really good chance we could be going for a left tackle. Zach Stackhouse, Casey Terry, definitely both options. Again, in terms of the guard position, we could look at opportunities there. Cedric Whitaker right now on our list, but more as a second or third round type of guy. In terms of center, we're probably going to pass on center this year, but if there is a need, we could potentially look at Larry Stevens. If he's there, maybe looking at potentially moving somewhere else. And again, Daniel Moyer, right guard, he's a definite candidate there. And right tackle, Michael O'Sullivan. So we definitely have our eyes on certain talents right now. Going to continue to scout some of these guys. We really need to have a stronger offense next year. That's going to mean better receivers and a far better offensive line. So again, at this point in the season, it's been a bit of a struggle. Been a real struggle, actually. Redwoods sitting here at 4-5, heading into Seattle. The season hangs in the balance. Can the Redwoods step up? Can they get a victory in Seattle next week? Can they move the ship in the right direction and really bear down for a playoff push? Ultimately, we will find out over the next couple weeks. Thanks, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.